that's going to involve taking a couple buses to get there. And a couple buses is probably going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours onto his day by the time he makes it from his home to where he's headed. So he would leave for his internship, unpaid internship. He would leave at 4:30 in the morning, and he would walk to the nearest bus stop to his home, catch the bus downtown, transfer, catch the bus out closest to where the employer partner was, but that was not so close. It was about a mile away. This was during the winter. It was dark. There were not sidewalks. Often there's snow, inclement weather, but he persevered. And for 2 weeks, he did that, knowing he was not going to receive any paycheck, but knowing that we were coaching him, that someone is going to recognize what you're doing here. So after about 2 weeks into this experience, sure enough, the employer partner recognized the hard work that James was putting forth and offered him a full-time permanent position. And I believe he started at $10.50 an hour. This was just about a year ago. In fact, I'm happy to report that we took a group of students yesterday to this employer partner, and James was working. He's on third shift, so we just missed him, but he is still working there, and actually in early 2016, he's going to celebrate his 1-year anniversary employed. And I do believe he has fixed the transportation issue. I think he's been able to save, so he's got a better solution there. So we just wanted to highlight this. We understand we're all here today celebrating Work and Learn and how it can truly impact lives in meaningful ways. We're proud of our students. We're proud of all the work that you all are doing as well, and look forward to a lot of continued collaboration, partnership, networking to grow this as a statewide initiative and really do a good job in serving people and making lives better. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about apprenticeships, and to do that, we have Todd Pancake, who is here. Todd, welcome.
All right, we're good afternoon now, but definitely appreciate the opportunity to be here today and just to share with everyone a little bit about apprenticeship and apprenticeship world, what I'll call it, and oh, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. My name is Todd Pancake. I'm the Director of Education, and I cover the 8 training centers across Indiana and Kentucky. And what we did before we started today is we laid a little bit of information on your tables. Basically, it talks about entry requirements, how to get in our program. I know we have a lot of people from different parts of the state, and basically the information's basically the same, just the locations might be different. And we do have information how to get in touch with us as far as that goes. You also have a fast facts, tells a little bit about our program and basically what we've got to offer. And if you would, take a few minutes to look at that in your free time. I know sometimes free time's limited opportunity. But Jackie, thank you for the opportunity, speaking of that, to be here today. What we have, oh, I'm still hitting the wrong button. All right. It's a 4-year apprenticeship program, and for those of you that are not aware of what that is, I'll give you a brief overview that we basically service carpenters, millwrights, and floor covers, and I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of those and what we offer at our training centers. But we are not the only apprenticeships out there. We are associated with the building trades, and with that, I say ours is a 4-year program. There's some that are less, and there's some that are more. So we're going to talk a little bit about what an Earn While You Learn program is, and it's kind of like this: the more you know, the more you're worth. And I like to use the analogy with our apprentices is it's kind of like you always hear the term dangling the carrot in front of the rabbit. Well, the carrot in apprenticeship world is pay raises. In other words, the more you know, and we're set up with a number of different collective bargaining agreements, but the more you know, the more you are worth to our contractors. And our contractors are our partners out there in the industry. And we basically work with the Carpenters Union, the United Brotherhood of Carpenters and Joiners of America. But talking about our carpentry program, basically we're broken into basically commercial and industrial. And when you set in a setting just like this, one of the things that I do as a former instructor for the program for about 15 years is as I start looking at the quality of the work. In other words, what's going on? So as you're sitting in here, if you looked up the ceiling, carpenters did that. You walk through these doors, carpenters not only knew how to swing those doors, but they also knew how to put the hardware on them. And you can't put hardware on a door if a door doesn't work. So as we're talking about this, and then you can get into anything from stages, podiums, all this stuff are things that we teach in our apprenticeships. And so as I'm talking about these pay raises, and I know this is very important to every person in this room, is the value of it. And that value that I first want to get into is a starting wage. A probationary apprentice in our world is going to start out, and this is for Zone 1, which would cover this area, is going to, and this is just for 180 days, and this is kind of their sink or swim. It gives us the opportunity to see if they're going to make it, and it gives them the opportunity to say, hey, Mr. Pancake, it's very cold out there. I don't think this is for me, or I have to work for a living. You know, in other words, this is hard to do. So this gives them 180 days, and it gives us 180 days. If a contractor calls on you 3 times, we're probably deciding that this is not the individual for this line of work. And when I say calls us 3 times, that's either for not showing up for work. I'll get into the challenges of that we face every day here in just a minute, or showing up late, and we let them know the importance of that. I see a lot of heads starting to shake in here too of some of this. But when we talk about the carpentry trade itself, this was coming into the field of this building when it was just a field, laying it out. In other words, in a vacant field for the excavators to come in, which would be basically probably operating engineers. They'll come in, put in the foundations, and then we're going to be the ones building the forms, and these are all things that we specifically teach in our programs, and these all have value. So basically, I like to use the term dirt to drapes. In other words, we come in, excuse me, I'm talking with my hands here. We lay out the field, and then we're going to turn the keys over to the owner. Okay, that's just one avenue that we have in our apprenticeship program. The next, and basically another area is definitely petrochemical, getting into scaffold building and in the industrial world. I know I'm short on time. If I look like I'm hurrying a little bit, I am. Another thing is our millwrights. And our millwrights get into power generation. Power generation is very big in our world. In other words, these this is not electricians, but these are the ones that help keep the lights on. And what I mean by that is they're the ones that actually put together and keep that turbine running in the powerhouses. So our millwrights are going to do that. They're also in the automotive industry. When I say that, basically this is setting up assembly lines. This is setting up conveyor systems also for UPS, FedEx, United States Postal Service. So this is a little bit of what millwright is. It's also a 4-year apprenticeship program. And then we have our floor covering program, which is also a 4-year apprenticeship program. And not many people noticed this when they walked in, but I do see people looking at the floor now. In other words, checking out basically the square carpets that were laid in here, each individual piece. And you know what? We look at that to see if that line's straight down through there, which I did check, and they did a good job, Robert, on your building when I walked in this morning. But I like to share that with you because that gives you an overview of actually what we do and that career, and I use the term career here, that we're going to afford each individual that gets into our program. So, what are you going to get after the 4 years? This is a question that comes up, and I do use the term kids, but our apprentices come in and they say, hey, Pancake, I'm going to invest 4 years of my life in your program. What are you going to give me besides a good wage? I need to back up too. I didn't tell you what that starting wage was. $13.02. And then once you get in as a first year, basically, these are approximately $3 an hour pay raises. So after you've been indentured, after you've done your first basically 180 days, we're going to bump you up to $16.02. That's what a beginning first year is going to make. Oh, by the way, we do have a benefit package on top of that of $7.41. Okay, you get into your second year, $18.93. Benefit package basically stays the same. It might bump up a little bit on their pension. And oh, that's correct, they are going to be getting a retirement with this. A third year, $21.84. Fourth year, $24.75. And then at the end, when they reach journey level, and this is for zone 1 here, they're looking at $29.12. Now, this is a good way. This is basically the value of these apprentices as they're progressing through up until the time that they hit journey level. I see a lot of eyes open very wide. I'm not telling you that this is a very dangerous job, the construction industry. But also, there's a lot of value in these skills that these individuals come out with. So they say, Pancake, what are you going to give me when I complete this program? And first thing I share with them is you are going to get an associate's degree in the applied science of carpentry, millwrighting, or floor covering from Ivy Tech. Okay, and they start thinking, and then they say, well, how much is that going to cost me? And I get the opportunity to share with them that that's included in the package. Okay, so they're going to get basically an associate's degree in the applied science of their particular field, basically included in their package. And at the end of this, I'll get to what the actual investment is on their behalf. So one of our partners, Ivy Tech, they're going to receive an associate's degree from them. The next thing that they're going to be receiving, and this is all on our graduation night, which we bring all of our apprentices across Indiana and Kentucky. We ship them into Indianapolis. And so when they're walking across the stage, this is one of the things that they're going to be getting. They're also going to get their journey certificate. Now, this is recognized across the United States and Canada. In other words, their work area just grew from Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio to the United States and Canada. And I can stand up in front of a group, any group, and tell them if there's no work in Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, and I've never seen this happen yet, that there's always work somewhere. In other words, that's their opportunity, and that's where the term journey person comes into play. They can travel, and usually when they travel, they make great wages. And then last but not least, they will get their certificate from the United States Department of Labor. This one I always share with them is actually recognized worldwide. In other words, I share with them that any overseas work before a contractor is going to hire someone, they're going to want to see credentials. And this is the United States government or Big Brother saying, hey, this individual's got the goods, and they have that opportunity to travel, and that they're going to be qualified to do the work. And then the last thing I always like to share with them is this, and that is that upon completion, we've already got their continuing education program laid out for them for their career, and basically at a cost of this much. And now you're thinking, what is the investment? It's $100 per year, and you're thinking, wait a minute, how does this work? And this is all through collective bargaining agreements. In other words, every hour that every carpenter, millwright, or floor cover puts out there when they were working on this building, X amount, basically our CBAs range from 35 cents to 50 cents an hour, goes into the training program. And that's how it's going to work. So now some of you are thinking, okay, apprenticeship is probably sounding like a pretty decent deal. I'm going to stand up here and tell you there's a lot of hard work involved in this. It doesn't just happen. And that's what we are looking for as hard workers. So how do you get in? I'm sharing with you 4 of 9 ways, and that's what we have up on. And section 1 is what everybody actually has in front of them. And as we go down through it, a lot of this stuff is very common. We definitely push for all the CTEs and the high school representatives. I want that diploma. and I want that math background. I mean, that is like gold in our industry. But we would like a high school diploma or a GED to get into the program. When I say a resident of our jurisdictional area, we've gotten so big. If you live in Indiana, you're good. In almost any surrounding county, you're good. But here we do have a little bit of an age barrier, but I can have a high school senior while still ages 17 actually already accepted into our program, and I'll get into that here in just a moment too. And then a lot of our normal EEOC language, applicant must be able to obtain a security clearance, and this is a legal thing for us, but basically what has happened is our apprentices have to be clean, and that's to get on a work site. We're going to basically wave the flag that we have a clean workforce, and I'm talking about a drug test here, and that is critical. If you can't pass a drug test, you do not get into our program. Current or state ID. And then I heard some exciting news here today, earlier. I'll tell you what, the Workkeys, this falls right into our area. I mean, this is when you're coming in Section 1, you're going to have to get a level 4 on our 4 Workkeys assessments. I see Carol Webb here. Thank you for all your help that you've given us over the years too with that, and workforce development. I mean, this is helping us with our testing has been totally an awesome situation here. I'm going to move on to Section 2. This is credit for previous experience. So if somebody's been doing this for 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to give them the opportunity to basically come into our program with that credit. But Section 6 is really big when I'm talking with CTEs. And this is an articulation agreement. And I'd love to have an articulation agreement with every one of you in this room. And hopefully we can get in touch and see if we can get some of these things set up, because basically this is us accepting your building trades program. We're putting value on that, and you're giving us somebody that already knows this is that career path that they want to take. And then number 9 is our Helmets to Hard Hats program. I can have somebody in Afghanistan today, and in 6 weeks, upon an honorable discharge, I can have them in our program. And that's just hats off to our vets on that. I'm moving fast here. Next is challenges. Finding qualified applicants with a strong work ethic. Like I said, we're looking for hard workers. Team player mentality. I go back on the Workkeys. One that we were profiled for was teamwork. In the construction industry, it's a team effort to get the job done. It's not just carpenters and floor covers working in this room, but it's working with the electricians and the tin sheet metal workers and just all these crafts working together. Positive attitude, math background, driver's license, and a security clearance, and that's going back to our 5-panel drug screen. These are the challenges that we face. And then also, I said that you might want to write this down, topnotch.org, or just type in topnotch, Google that, and that will bring you into all the other crafts that are tied together. And today I did get the opportunity to bring one of our 4th-year apprentices, and Craig, I'm going to have you come up and give a few words just on apprenticeship, what it is to him. He's about to top out, but just to give a little bit of the value of it. Craig?
All right. Hello. Well, a little background on me. I'm a little older, as you can tell. I graduated from Center Grove High School, did the whole song and dance, went to IUPUI. Not sure what I wanted to do. Bailed out of IUPUI. Bounced around several jobs, warehouse jobs, residential construction, commercial construction, and was trying to really find something that I could stick with and maintain throughout and actually make a career out of. And eventually I found the Carpenters IKORCC, and it's been several years now, and I guess when you talk about the work ethic and the positive attitude, and everybody's complaining about that, like an actual livable wage that you need to succeed in life and provide for a family. The work is not easy. It's not for everybody, and it's very difficult working in the elements. And you know, some people can do it for a short term, but doing it day in and day out and being on time, on the job, sometimes as early as 6 a.m. and getting it done it can be taxing. And along with the schooling, 4 weeks a year, it's a great apprenticeship program, but not only after the apprenticeship, the continued education that they provide, like journeyman upscale classes, things like that, that there's always something to be learned, something to be taught there, and something to take advantage of. And it's been a great opportunity for me, and I look forward to continue pursuing it in the future. And you know, it is what you put into it, you definitely get out of it in return. So it's been great for me, and I'm very fortunate for the opportunity. Thank you.
And with that, something that Craig brought up, the actual average age of an apprentice in our program is 27 and a half years old. A lot of people think apprentice right out of high school, but as a training director, you know, and hold your ears, Craig, but I like to see that number lower. You know, in other words, like I said, I want those high school kids, so coming in right out of high school. So we appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and if you do have any questions, you've got our contact information, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the testimonial. Really appreciate that. Next up is Claudia Cummings. She's the Vice President of Education and Workforce at Connexus.
Okay, I have my timer here. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for the team at DWD for inviting me. I'm Claudia Cummings with Connexus Indiana, and I would like to start by telling you what in the world is that. For those of you who don't know us, Connexus Indiana is a statewide organization focused on economic development for advanced manufacturing and logistics, but we do it in a non-traditional way. What we do is we work to shore up the economic sector that is advanced manufacturing and logistics and all of the inputs that go into that. Policy, infrastructure, and of course workforce. We're part of the Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, of which there are numerous initiatives focused on varying portions of the economy, but again, we focus on advanced manufacturing and logistics. We have two sides to what we do. Workforce is by far the largest portion of what we do at Connexus because industry has demanded it. We are industry-led, we are industry-funded, we are industry-directed. We work on advanced manufacturing and logistics because it is a significant portion of Indiana's economy and because these are high-wage, high-demand careers. Manufacturing pays about 40% more than the average salary in Indiana, and logistics pays about 30% higher. So, and as you can see by the pie chart, the red there is the share of the economy that is manufacturing, so it is significant in our state. We have a three-pronged problem here in Indiana with ensuring that we have the proper workforce for our economy for manufacturing and logistics. We have thousands of unfilled jobs that go on daily. We have workers that are not properly prepared. Folks still think manufacturing is just something you go out after high school and get a job on the line. No advanced skills necessary. And it's difficult to catch the attention or engagement of our students out there in the field. So Connexus has been working now for about 7 years on a strategy that has grown to include 4 key workforce development programs. I'm going to start in the lower right-hand corner with our Dream It, Do It program. It was the first portion of what it is that we came to do. Our Dream It, Do It program is part of a national initiative for career awareness for students. We have done this through kind of the air war of advertising and marketing, but more importantly through the ground war. And a lot of folks that are in this room today are part of that ground war. They are the teachers, they are the administrators, the CTE directors, counselors who have been deemed our champions. And they work in the buildings with the students directly, helping to improve the image of advanced manufacturing and logistics to students, to parents, and to their colleagues. You know, getting out and talking to the English teachers about figuring out which little Johnny might be great for advanced manufacturing, or even better, which little Susie. Incredibly important in the increasing of the workforce that we have available for these careers. I will say that our goal is to increase the enrollment in our targeted courses, which are primarily Project Lead the Way and our own higher technology program, but to increase those enrollments by 10% annually. And I'm pleased to say that since inception, we have met that goal through the efforts of these individuals. Next, we have our blue quadrant there, and that is our A+ partner program. And our A+ partners are our industry partners. We found that when we launched Dream It, Do It, we told the champions, make sure you involve your local industry. But in terms of getting that true engagement going, it was really difficult. And so we found that it needed to be more intentional. So we launched the A+ Partner Program, where Connexus makes sure that every school that we work with has at least one industry partner. Those partners give advice to teachers in the targeted courses about what it is they're teaching to make sure that it's relevant. Also talks to students about career opportunities that happen after high school and how it is they can go about obtaining those skills that they need in order to be successful. They're active in those school buildings, and they've done everything from act as guest speakers to bringing, you know, $25,000 checks to the high schools. Mooresville had that good problem to have, that fortunate opportunity from their A+ partner down there, Mount Olive Manufacturing. So, fast forward a little bit, and our A+ partners are saying, this is great, but you know, we need more targeted education in our schools. We're seeing kids coming out of these programs, but you know, they're all different. We're never really sure what they're learning. Is it exactly relevant? So